कालकालाय विद्महे कालातीताय धीमहि तन्नो कालभैरवप्रचोदयात्। ओम हिंगुळे परमहिंगुळे अमृतरूपिणी तनुशक्तिमनशिवे श्री हिंगुळाय नमः। ओम कामाख्यवरदे देवी नीलपर्वतवासिनी त्वं देवी जगतं मात्रं योनिमुद्रे नमोस्तुते। Namaskaram. Welcome to yet another video of our Ishtartha Guru Bhairava. But today I would be talking on one of a topic which is mostly not been spoken in the Sadhana Paddhati very openly. But the reason why I'm coming with this particular topic today is I got a couple of mails from last couple of weeks on the same topic asking me to how to sustain the life force, how to hold the energy without leaking. And also few of the young sadhakas were asking me very openly that they are being indulged into the dopamine addiction. It may be like scrolling of the mobile, or it may be watching the prawn. It has become a very addictive for them, and for which they have were asking me how exactly we need to go with it. Few of the sadhakas have been asked to do certain steps which they were able to recover from all those actions. But today let me just speak out this because I'm getting a repeated request on this one-on-one on the DM as well as on the email. I thought let me just talk about this information today to everyone who are in the path of adhyatma, or in the path of so-called as sadhana. When it comes to like let me just give you the information in this way. Even a long ago, before even a human or a man measured, life is a notification, mobile notification. Dopamine normally spikes. Even if you see like any kind of a notification, you are waiting for someone, you are waiting for even some calls, someone who you are very looking for their arrival in that particular moment, or you need to go somewhere and you are waiting for someone's call, or even in your a loved one call. Normally dopamine spikes. Flirting, like, it also spikes up the pleasure. This is nothing but the spike, or what we call it as dopamine spike, or whatever we call it as that. This is actually called energy. Energy was always measured as a sacred. Even from a long ago, even this is like I can put it into this way. If you ask me like what is very important in the life, few of me actually tell me that actually it is electricity, because today we are living in one of an era where electricity is very essential. Without electricity, entire life will be zero. I fully agree with you, but still partially that's not correct. Few may come and tell me that actually it's money. Without money nothing can be done. Today we are living in such a Kali Yuga where without money even family members do not support. I fully agree with you, but that is also not true. I always see something called as Vīrya. Why Vīrya? Vīrya is a seed of life itself. It gives a life as me, as you, as a person who is next to us. Vīrya is not just a substance. Vīrya is a life itself. It's a life cell itself. You may think that why, how exactly this topic is needed. Let me just take you back. The sages knew this very secret, like modern man who have forgotten this. Like what can create the life can also create the destiny. This was the statement which was given by Patanjali himself, that life, what can life create, can also create the destiny. He spoke very subtle about the retention. The word retention, he spoke very, very in a subtle level. This was a question even many of the sadhakas normally come and ask me, and even few of the gurus have clearly explained this to the afterworld. The fall of energy, what we call it as, every drop of semen carries a lot of intense energy. Vīrya is something like your, again, let me just divide that segment into a different words. But let me come here. A single drop of semen is actually contains a lot of, from a biological terms perspective, I can tell that this information actually, when I was speaking to one of my medical sadhaka, when we were trying to talk about this particular topic in information perspective, he was able to tell me from a biological terms what exactly a one drop of semen contains, how exactly the retention is very, very essential in today's world. He was able to give me a very information which was very shocking. Even I was able to cross check this. It was so perfect that actually each drop of semen carries something called as zinc and selenium. It is a substance for our immunity. It is a guardian of our immunity. In today's world, if you see, like for the immunity, we take other external substance. We take the external things, like it may be a additional tablets, or it may be like protein powders. All these things we take it. But let me just explain. Zinc and magnesium is guardian of the immunity as per the science. I'm trying to talk from a science perspective. It also has something called as a vitamin B12 as well as a magnesium. You may be wondering why I'm trying to talk about from a science perspective. No, this is the fuel for the brain as well as nervous system. The magnesium is a fuel which is actually activates your nervous systems. The third aspect is actually it has a protein as well as amino acids. Protein and amino acids are a very, very, very essential substance which builds the muscle as well as the strength in the all of us, in humans. It is very, very essential. Proteins as well as amino acids is very, very essential. Test or not, so these are the fire. Basically, this is what actually is one of a very powerful ingredients which is always being looked on. Testimonials. The fire of confidence, courage, being in presence. This is what actually is lacking today in today's young generation. See, yet today, if you see, a sacred substance is being spilled very casually today, not in something to be created for something great cause, not in the love, but in escapism. They do it for the escapism. They think that actually by doing this, each release what they feel is actually like a dopamine explodes in the brain. Whenever the dopamine explodes in the brain, they feel that actually they have won something. They have the individual will experience like false victory will come into a picture. Mind will celebrate without even earning anything. It starts celebrating that actually I have did something great. It also tells that mind tells that actually the reward comes without any efforts. Let me just tell you, this dopamine spike which happens even from a science perspective, I'm talking from a science perspective, it is comes also brings a crash in the life. Like whosoever have wasted their semen, just go and ask any of them. Basically it may be anyone of you. You may ask yourself, after that episode, the guilt replaces the clarity. The guilt will be the first one. You will be thinking that why I did this. After this episode, lethargic will be one of an outcome of an activity. Anxiety. restlessness. These are the outcome of what you call it as spilling out your energy cells without even your awareness. It is somewhat like, let me just tell you, what guilt replaces is actually when you try to hold, retain, a retention of your Vīrya is actually the guilt replaces with a clarity. Even the lethargic replaces with a drive, what need to be focused. Your anxiety replaces with a confidence, what I can, how I can, when I can. Motivation dissolves into the restlessness. What science calls as a dopamine crash today is like, I can tell, like in Tantra, it has a three substance of information which is very, very crucial when we all as need to know. In Tantra, Ojas, we call it as one of a Ojas Kasya. This is a depletion of a inner vitality, we call it as. And when the Ojas falls, automatically fear arises. This is written in all the yogic scriptures that Ojas, Tejas and Prana is what is very vitality when it comes to the sadhaka. You may be wondering like how exactly this is connected to a sadhana paddhati. I always tell whoever starts the Bhairava-sadhana with Anushtana, taking a promise with the Daiva that actually I am going to do something, I am going to come back to you with these many days, with 11 days, 21 days, or it may be like 48 days of mandala, or it may be 2 mandala, or it may be 3 mandala, completion of a 3 mandala, 144 days. What exactly sadhaka can achieve it? Let me just tell you this. Sadhana is not about the number of mantras recited or nor the length of time you spend in certain rituals. Many people, sadhakas, come and tell me who are been doing sadhana for couple of years, but still they come and tell they lose energy, they lose focus, they get quickly frustrated. These are the outcomes of leakage of energy, and it's the root. Sadhana is how well one can hold, direct or stabilize the energy. This is what the sadhana is all about. Like I can tell you, like among all the forms of energy in the human body, Vīrya is the most condensed and very, very potent. I'm very, very clear here. It is very, very condensed and potent. Once a person start holding the Vīrya, know how to hold the Vīrya, he has reached next heights. This is why every, like I can call it as every authentic tantric rituals or yogis, it may be aghori, it may be even sadhana, any kind of a greatest sadhana, even naga sadhus, even to start or even think about those aspects, they always tell how many years you hold your Vīrya. This is the first question they will ask to you. And in Shaivism and even in Nath Sampradaya, treat this as one of very, very potent. It is a reverence. See, many of the sadhakas or some of the sadhana paddhati, they talk about the maithuna, but when it comes to the maithuna, they have a different concept of mindset. Sexuality they talks about. Let me just tell you, in Tantra, Yoga and Shaivism path, this is not an pleasure. This is an energy spike which will help you to go to the next level. This is an energy retention. And even when it comes to the sadhana paddhati, you may be wondering why especially Vīrya is the center of the sadhana. As I told, in sadhana, the goal is not to escape from the life, but the intensification of the awareness what we need to create on. As I told you earlier, 3 aspects of the life is very, very essential. For this 3 inner substance are very, very required. Ojas, Tejas and Prana, as I told you. Ojas is something called stability and the immunity which is going to help you. As I told you earlier, even if you recall, we spoke about zinc as well as selenium. This is what Ojas actually, we can call it as in Sanatana, which is being told to us. In Guru Parampara, they talk this as Ojas because this particular terminology of modern science was what's never been done, but they know what is vitality, what is the stability, what is the immunity which is going to bring to you. Second aspect is Tejas, the clarity, courage, spiritual fire to do something like I am going to take the sankalpa and I am going to make that the sankalpa has been completed. Tejas, courage. Here it is about testosterone. It is a fire of the confidence, and even it is also like I can call it as the fuel for your nervous system as well as a brain, which we spoke on the biological terms as vitamin B12 as well as a magnesium. Tejas is what which is going to give a clarity. Prana, the movement of life force, which is very, very, very essential. As I told you, prana, in the modern world, we can put it like this, like even amino acids. Strength, the confidence, the courage, which is going to build you. This is why even Rishi Munis used to tell, whoever holds the Vīrya, he becomes Vīra. Vīrya holded by only by Vīras. Here, Vīrya is not a raw material, which is all three are refined. When a Vīrya is actually holded, it is relatively lost. Even sadhakas will lose their path, or sadhakas will actually come and complain, or sadhakas can notice even this. Like many of them actually come and tell me, this particular are the outcomes of it. Japa becomes very mechanical. Meditation becomes restlessness. Emotion fluctuations will start happening in your life. Fear for everything, fear for every actions, fear for every information what you hear, thinking that actually it may happen to me, or doubt in such a way that am I doing correctly? Is this correct for my life? Is this actually not going to be good? What is good in my life? What is not? See, again, inquiring is good, but doubting your inner core strength is actually what we call it as leakage of energy. Insecurity increases automatically. Like insecurity in all the ways. Insecurity in thinking that actually I am doing everything, but still I am not able to do. I am able to do all the paddhati in sadhana, but still I am not able to achieve it, which is really essential in my life. Let me just underline this particular line. No mantra can compensate for the constant energy leakage which you are doing by yourself. So it is, keep this in mind. Vīrya, we call it as samrakshana. Vīrya samrakshana in the Sanatana. Guru-tattva, whenever there is actually a Guru Bodhana is being given in the Natha Sampradaya, this is one of a very essential or a foundation aspects which is being taught. Vīrya samrakshana is one of a moral discipline which every sadhaka need to keep this in mind, irrespective of whichever devata, whichever the devi you are doing aradhana. It is somewhat like a energy hygiene which we need to keep it in our mind, which we need to make sure that actually this is a discipline which we need to carry it. See, what happens is, especially when we do a sadhana, Bhairava-tattva, let me just tell you very clearly, Bhairava is not for a god of a comfort. He is a guardian of a threshold. He is a guardian of a threshold between, like, it is between like intensity as well as an awareness he brings into your life. He chops off your addictions and he masters, he ensures that fall, whatever is there, it is going to rise. It is not with the mantra, it is not with the vinyoga you do it. I always tell, sankalpa is going to change your life. Make sure that Mandala sadhana is being essentially being promise yourself to the Daiva, telling that Daiva, today I'm going to sit. In next 40 days is what I'm going to sit in front of you. I'm going to retain my sankalpa is once, okay? Viniyoga is actually like every day you do. Viniyoga, it was being done to make sure that you promising to the Devata that this is the promise I have taken and this is what I am continuing and still I am sitting in front of you without any losses. This is what actually Bhairava is going to help you. He is going to help you as a guardian of a threshold. He stands where the desires either enslaves or liberates. In Bhairava sadhana, there are one unspoken law which always been said when it comes to the higher level of the sadhana or the energy must not leak. It must ascend. See, once actually, that is why the Bhairava is worshipped with silence. Here in Bhairava Anugraha, we always talk about bhava. We always talk about the silence. We talk about the discipline. We talk about the paddhati. We also talk about the fearlessness. We also talk about presence, not the indulgence. Reason because once Bhairava comes into our life, life changes into a different dimensions. Maybe let me just tell you why this is Bhairava sadhana is very urgent needed in today's world. See, in today's life, I believe you agree with me, in today's age, the desire is consistently stimulating but never fulfilled at all. You may be wondering like how. In a modern world, bombardment of the nervous system will happen, like sexual, imaginary, instant gratification, artificial dopamine spikes, endless comparison and fantasy. These are actually the today's desire. Every we can call it as Gen Zs which are facing the problem. This creates a condition. In Tantra, this is called as a Chitta viraspa. Chitta viraspa is something called as very, very sacred, unstable mind. Chitta vispa is actually somewhat like you don't have control on your thoughts, your mind, your emotions at all. See, for example, if I'm sitting and if my hand is just shaking like this without even my notice, and if someone is sitting next to him, I just keep on hitting. If someone asks me, I tell that it is not me, it is my hand. Without my knowledge, it is hitting you or shaking, which is creating a disturbance in our discussion. He will think that he doesn't have a control on you. When we have a control on this particular tool, I always tell this as a tool. Your deha is your tool. Chitta vispa is what going to create unstable mind. Your unstable mind is a chitta vispa. Excessive, let me just put it into like this. Zenjis, which are, as I told you, excessive ejections, especially driven by the pornography or a compulsive habits caused by today's world. Like they see certain videos, short videos or reels or pornography videos, and they think that actually dopamine is actually execution is happening, and they feel that they have achieved something. It is proclating like it is actually like induced lethargic is a next step which is going to happen in your life. Emotional numbness is going to happen in your life. Loss of motivational and direction is where you are going to heading towards to. This is why many today says like especially in the sadhana, I chant but I don't feel depth. Many sadhakas also come and tell that I meditate but my mind is very, very dull always. I knew the path. Some come and tell me that actually I am doing from many ages. I knew the path very well. I know the sadhana paddhati. I know actually how many mandalas need to be done. I know how to rotate the mala. I know how to do what need to be done. What type of devata altar I need to see. What type of yantra I need to create. They tell everything. They know the path. But lack of strength. The issue is not the faith. It is the energy deb. You're losing your energy. You're actually flushing your energy every day without your knowledge. Vīrya is Vīra of your life. In sadhana, we call it as, it is a downfall, okay, downward falling. In tantra, we call it as like uncontrolled indulgence, pleasure, when energy is downwards happening. We call this as adhogati. Adhogati is also one of a word in South India, especially in Karnataka. Many people talk about this as adhogati. Adhogati is somewhat like in a Sanskrit, it is called as energy downwards. Your Mooladhara always holds that energy. In sadhana, we need to always keep this in mind. Sadhana exists to reverse this flow. Urdhava, we call it as Urdhava Gamana. Urdhava Gamana is pulling your energies to the highest level. Here, Vīrya retention naturally when you do a sadhana. Especially a sadhana, as I always told, many people will ask me, celibacy is important. I tell, it is your call. Celibacy is one's self-individual capability. I can call it like this. Or your own capacity to do a sadhana. Vīrya retention manually, like naturally, what it will bring? It stabilizes the nervous system. Okay. It also restores any kind of a dopamine sensitivity. It builds ojas, modern science, as I told you, vitality, strengthening with, like we can call it as strengthening will. In Sanskrit, Gurudeva, my Gurudeva always used to call Ichha Shakti. Your energy of Ichha Shakti will get raised when you do a Mandala Sadhana. And Mandala Sadhana, rather than leakage of your energy, Vīrya retention is going to help you here. It's going to deepen your mantra absorption in your life. This is why many sadhakas notice that mantra becomes heavier and more alive when they do the Mandala Sadhana. And they also have, many people have come, I can tell my own example. Fear reduces without any kind of efforts when you do a Mandala Sadhana. Your Mandala Sadhana is going to make you, without even counting the dates, certain stage you will reach, you will forget about the Mandala. It will become your part of your life. It will become a part of your life such a way you never miss, irrespective of whether it is any kind of an trouble in your life, any kind of a situation in your life, or any kind of a medical situation in your life. Still you will go back to your Daiva, telling that I have taken a Sankalpa, this is my, I'm going to sit with the Vinaya Yoga, telling you that today I have come back to you. Here the fear reduces without any kind of an efforts. Immediately sleep improves. Whoever does any kind of a sadhana, especially Sankalpa, they take and do a sadhana for the Mandala, holding their Vīrya, automatically the sleep improves. Even I can call it as like a speech gains authority. Your Vakya Shuddhi, or we can call it as, I don't want to term as actually you will be going to gain the Siddhi here. Vaka Shuddhi will happen. Silence becomes comfortable in your life. These are the signs of energy returning back to the home. This is what in Sanatana, even the what we call it as Guru Parampara always taught the sadhakas. Why Bhairava sadhana is especially required in this era is, let me just tell you, before that let me just put it like this. Why Mandala sadhana is going to help especially? See, take an example. If you, as a seeker, as a sadhaka, if you take a retention of 144 days of Semen's retention, or 48 days of Semen's retention, here a journey from a minor, you will go into something called as Tantric Mandala, which is Kala, which is going to help you out. Test yourself. I can tell that first 1 to 7 days when you retain your Semen, It is a test. The mind always rebel. Okay, carving of surge will happen. Scrolling the mobile. I want to see something. I want to see something which will increase my dopamine. This is actually mind rebels. Your old habit scares for the attention. It always asks you for the attention. It happens only for the 7 days. In Tantra, this is called as samskara udbhava. In samskara udhara or samskara udbhava, it is a buried impression rising to the burnt. It is a, we can call it as a science calls it withdraw. In science we call it as withdraw of energies. In Bhairava-tattva, it calls as initiation. Initiation is not a 1 minute of act. It is actually a 7 days of a repetitive of your actions, which is going to create a sadhaka to make sure what he has promised between he and the Daiva. Once he starts holding the energy for 7 to 21 days, we call this as actually something called, in modern world we can call it as a flat line. Flat line of what? Emotion go quiet at that moment. No hike, or we can call it as no excitement will be there. Sustainability, it will be like a straight line. Just emptiness you will be experiencing. Many quit here. 17 to 21 days sadhaka, they will quit and they tell that actually I'm continuing the sadhana, but they have lost their energy. But in sadhana text perspective, when the noise stops, awareness was what actually truly begins. This is a it can be put it into this way. In Tantra, this is called as smashana avastha. The word may be like very awkward, but yes, smashana avastha is where in 7 to 21 days of a sadhaka's life which gets spouted, the cremation ground within get active. The old identity dies and addiction loses its voice. This is where actually the sadhaka will truly start experiencing what the sadhana is all about. Second, if he continues his sadhana from 21 days to 30 days, there would be a rise of energy. In that 9 days, every returns, but it will be a different. It will be a calm will start coming in your life. Dense of your fog dense, what we call it as a fog mood will come down. Silence will become part of your life. People start noticing your behavior, your activity, your actions, your the way you interact with them, the way you spill your energy wherever you go. People will start noticing this. Your eyes carries a weight when you do this. When you hold this Shakti for 30 days, 21 to 30 days. Even the word carries an authority at that given point. People start recognizing your words as very seriously. Your presence of mind becomes very deep, and you will know yourself how exactly the life is happening around you and what need to be done. Here, this is a Vīrya converting into the Tejas state. The raw vitality becoming your inner radiance is what going to happen. Even if someone actually crosses this threshold from 30 to what we call it as before 48 days, even I can call it as 45 days, one mandala, the transformation happens. Dopamine resets here. Your addiction come down automatically. Simple life feels meaningful again. You feel very, very happy with what you do, whatever you are. You will be contentful. Your work will be exciting. You always will think what best I can do for tomorrow, what I can do today, what the best I can offer myself to someone who can actually, I can see Bhairava in him. This is where actually as a sadhaka, you will be able to do a perfect 48 days of celibacy in the sadhana, retaining your Semen. Discipline feels automatically natural in your life, and even fear weaknesses. Here in Tantra, especially in this particular state, once the mandala has been completed, the transformation starts. This is called as sthira prana. Sthira prana is actually stabilizing of the life force is going to happen in your life. Bhairava no longer feels external here. You will start feeling him within. This is the reason in Bhairava Anugraha I always tell, don't find to see Bhairava outside. Start seeing Bhairava inside. He will become part of you. He is a Kala. You will be holding the Kala with you. And why the great ones knew this? Let me just also tell. Even when I, as I told you, when I was speaking to one of the medical sadhaka, he was trying to give me certain information, which even like it was like, oh, is it really like so many people have noticed this? What actually came into my mind? Why the great ones knew this particular information was, let me just tell you, even the Mike Tyson did not just train the muscles, he guarded the energy. He guarded the energy such that actually whenever he holded, like Mike Tyson holded the ring for many years, because he knew how to retain his Vīrya. He had this knowledge how he need to hold it. And even his master, or we can call it as his trainer, always used to tell, whenever he used to hold that intensity of the Vīrya, he used to tell that he is never going to lose his match in next week or next ring or next kind of a fight he is going to happen. This happened even with one of the greatest Muhammad Ali also. Not just as a fighting opponent, he was a mastered in impulses. He has told himself in few of the episodes that before even he enters into a ring, he used to hold 6 weeks of retention of his semen, which used to make him as a powerful person. And even, let me just tell, the greatest tool, whatever we have it from a technology perspective, Steve Jobs, even he has told the greatest product whichever he has brought, even he has told about this particular, he used to make sure brahmacharyam is going to be as one of his tool which has helped him to actually to focus, to get focused into the activity whichever he wants to achieve it. Here the different path, everyone has a different path, but one truth, and that one truth is energy conserved becomes as a power. This is not a celibacy. People ask me when it comes to the sadhana, celibacy is important, celibacy is important. I always tell it is your call. You please take a call. Whether you can hold it, it is your own capability. This is a command. This is not a rejection of the love. This is somewhat like a refusal to the wasting your life force or on illusions, which is not true. See, the deeper teaching what Bhairava is trying to teach us here is, Bhairava never asks you to actually suppress your energy. He tells that in a sadhana, after this 48 days, what happens in your life is going to change entirely the life you look upon. Automatically, the fear falls, the confidence stabilizes, intuition sharpens, life again gains its energy. You get your identity. You will never be like, are you a master or you are a servant? You need to keep yourself clear. And this can happen only when there is a Vīrya samrakshana is being done. Natural prerequisites. These are not rules. This is a natural prerequisites which every Guru Sampradaya used to tell about this. Where Vīrya is stable, Bhairava presence is protective. Fear dissolves. As I told you, sādhana becomes very effortless in your life. Intuition sharpens. You get into in a life in such a way that you know what need to be done in your life. Why this is not a suppression? See, discipline is not just about ejection or rejection of what we call it as sexuality or a family life. Most of us actually are in a family life. I'm not telling that actually we need to run away from the family life. No, it is only warning against wasting. Do not waste your energy. Do not leak your energy. The principle is very simple and thin and very clear. Do not spill the life force for escapism, for spike of dopamine, direct it towards the creation. It may be inward creation or it may be the outer creation. Bhairava is going to help you. Do it with a sankalpa, and sankalpa is the foundation. When the same energy is conserved and redirected, I can call it into a very simple word as work will become worship. Discipline becomes your joy. Desire transforms into your drive. You will start enjoying every piece of your life surrounding you. This age, especially Gen Zs, or I can call it as Gen Y, Gen Z, whatever we have, so especially people who spill out their energy. The age does not need more information. It needs the, like in a sadhana, or they talk about every information. This is the foundation, as I told you. Especially, it needs a man and a woman with a stable energy, with a very clear mind, and with a grounded presence. What they have it. Without energy, there is no sadhana. Without sadhana, there is no inner anchoring which is going to happen. Even if you do a sadhana only for the word purpose, or showcasing to someone that I do also do a meditation on and the sadhana, you are not going to gain anything. You will be on the same loop square. Without anchor, the mind collapse under stimulations what you are happening in your life. This is why discipline is not an optional to any more or anyone. It is basically foundation. In sadhana paddhati, this is what actually is being taught. In very essence, sadhana begins where wastage ends automatically. And wastage, leakage. Vīrya conserves, becomes awareness here. And awareness stabilizes, becomes Bhairava-tattva, Bhairava guna, Bhairava consciousness in your life. It is a time of distractions around us. The energy preservation is not a, we can call it as renewing of the energy. It is a survival of a consciousness. And this is very, very essential for us. Because Bhairava is, as I told you earlier, Bhairava is a kala, is a time, he's a prana, he's a vital force. He rules all these actions. It like impulsive, fear, hunger, lust, death, transformation. All these domains, he governs it. And Bhairava sadhana is going to change everyone's life if it's being done in very consciously and with the sankalpa. He stands at the exact threshold. It is not like animal intent must either descend. It is a compulsive or a rise of awareness which he is going to bring in your life. Where Bhairava is remembered, compulsive releases and loses the authority. Keep this in mind. Bhairava is always with you. My only request to the sadhakas who always tell how to hold your retention of your energy, take a sankalpa. And once you take a sankalpa, 48 days. In 48 days, transformation happens. Think about 144 days, what it is going to bring in your life. 3 mandalas is going to change your life, and you will not be the same person as what you were last 144 days before. Before, I would clearly reiterate this: do not waste what can create the life. Vīrya is going to create your life, or what only numbs the pain. My request would be like retain, reframe, redirect your energy from Mooladhara to the Sahasrara. Offer your Vīrya to the Sadhana. Vīrya not outward, not with a dopamine ejection. Put it in inwards as that actually you can grow in your sadhana. Offer your impulse into awareness. Offer your fear into the Bhairava. Because when energy is preserved, destiny reorganizes itself for you. And that's where Bhairava opens up a very clear door for you, where life will become a very beautiful for you to the next stages. And before I conclude, I am also trying to tell once again, sadhana is not the number of mantra reciting. It is not the number of length of time you spend in the ritual. It is a root. Sadhana is how well you hold, direct, stabilize your energy. Among all the forms of the human energy in the human body, Vīrya is the most condensed and potent. So, as I told you, in Tantra, this is the base. So, make sure that actually you hold it and you know the importance of this in your life, so you can have a clarity. See, I can talk about anything and everything. Oh, just tejas, prana. You may be wondering, like, actually, these are the nonsense words. Do this for 48 days. Do this for 2 mandalas. Do this for 144 days. You will change a difference in you. You will become a yogic. You will become a true tantri, and you will become, you will start knowing the true tantra in this particular body. Japa will never become a mechanical in your life. Meditation will never become a restlessness. And you will never come and ask anyone that actually is the celibacy is very, very important in my life. Celibacy will become part of your life, and you will not start wasting it because of dopamine rise. So with that note, I think that actually I was able to give my thought and information on this particular topic. Today it is not about more about from the Bhairava Swarupa perspective, but here today I am trying to tell how exactly the sadhaka can enhance his vital energy to the next level. And Bhairava is the only one who is going to support you here. And make sure that whenever you do a sadhana, it is not only rolling the mala or rolling your rudrakshi beads or a japa mala. Here you are with a commitment, sankalpa. I am going to do this. It may be 11 days, it may be 21 days, it may be 30 to 48 days, purely depend on you. Or even it may be like 48 to, you want to take this to the, ideally for the 2 mandalas, or if you want to take this 2 mandalas to 3 mandalas, taking entire sankalpa as 144 days and making your life as a transformative. It purely depend on you. So be conscious, do not waste your energy. Vīrya, holding the Vīrya, you will become a Vīrya. Om Bhairava-tattva Namaha. Om Kala-kalaya vidmahe Kala-atitaya dhimahi Tanno Kala-bhairava prachodayat. Om Hingule Paramahingule Amrita-rupini Tanu-shaktimana Shive Shri Hingulaya Namaha. Namaskaram.